Welcome back. We're going to be hovering the Harrier today. This is X-Plane 11 and this is the AV8B. So it's all otherwise known as the Harrier GR7. It was British originally, but it was made in America under license and it was very good, and the British bought them back. So it's actually McDonnell Douglas AV8B. Although to everyone else it's the Hawker Harrier jump jet. Now we're going to be learning to hover today, and so we have to make sure the aircraft is light enough to hover, because if it's got too much weight on board it will fail to hover and it will bang into the ground. Okay, so once we're light enough, we've taken off all the weapons, all the bombs, all the missiles, and we've drained the tanks. So we haven't got a tremendous amount of fuel on board, and we will use it up quite quickly. So it needs to be light enough to hover. Okay. We've got our throttle, which we'll be using, and we will be vectoring our nozzles. We will be vectoring between 80 and maximum. Okay, so we'll have to make constant little manoeuvres with the nozzles to stop ourselves from going forwards and backwards and that sort of thing, raising and lowering the nose to do that. Very similar to flying a helicopter in that respect. And we're going to finish up, we're going to start pointing the aircraft, pointing the nose of the aircraft towards the control tower, and we're going to do an orbit around the tower, keeping the nose pointing at the control tower, trying to keep the aircraft at a very similar height to the top of the control tower. Obviously if we touch the ground it's a fail, if we go too high it's a fail, if we get too far away or too close to the tower it's a fail. So we just got to practice and practice. It does take a lot of concentration at first, but you will get used to it. It's a tremendously wonderful aircraft, I think, to fly. I really enjoy flying the GR7, or the AV8B as it's called. It can also do beautiful steep approaches with maximum throttle vectoring. It can come in very steep, and using the throttle vectoring as brakes almost, and come into a really steep approach to a runway, leveling out and then just hovering to a halt. That's something else we're going to practice, because it's just too much doing hovering around the tower for more than 15-20 minutes. It'll do your head in. It's always something you come back to. Don't worry if you get it all wrong at first. Leave it, go off, fly somewhere else, and then come back and try it again later. And practice makes perfect, like everything else. As I say, it's made a very steep approach, and it's just hovering itself into position. Get yourself all squared off and hovering at a nice position. And if it all goes tits up, just power up, go around, position yourself again and start again. And then just bring it into a nice gentle landing next to the control tower. Loads and loads of concentration. Don't want to spank it in, we want to touch it down nice and gently on the ground. This one, nose wheel first, look at that. Should put it down on all four wheels at the same time really, but it doesn't matter. As long as it's nice and controlled and we're not spanking the aircraft in hard. Okay, here we go, let's try it out. Okay, now it's important to keep a good distance from the control tower. Don't get too close. If you get too close, go to max throttle, max vectoring. Okay, because that'll give you a bit of a reverse, so you can back away a bit and then go back to 80. Okay, so it's constantly from max to 80, from max to 80, getting your distance just right. Throttle settings, you know, you'll pick a throttle setting and you'll really stick to that. Don't need to do any more. You have got emergency power, which is water. You can hit the button, but you shouldn't need it. I never use the water, okay, unless I need the power. People often need the power when you're carrying lots of bombs and fuel and things and you want to take off, and people just put the water in there and you might forget about it and leave it on and run out of water. So it's emergency power only, okay, so only use it in emergencies. That's my theory on it anyway. So power, if we put too much power in, we'll be climbing too high. When we don't have enough, we'll be touching the ground. So we get that power setting, and then it's nozzle vectoring. Okay, to turn the aircraft, we've got to tilt it left or tilt it right, and then we're working with opposite rudder to keep the nose pointing more or less at the building. Okay, and don't worry if you mess it up completely, because it just doesn't matter, because you can always come back and practice again. This is X-Plane 11. It is a simulator. I'm doing this in VR, and it doesn't cost any money at all. So just think about that when you next time you're down the flying club in your Piper Cherokee. Think to yourself, wow, I could have done all this in VR for nothing, and enjoyed it, because the graphics are going to get better, everything's going to get better. If you really, really, really must go and pay all that money for your pilot's license, well, do it, go and do it. But at least get the benefit of this first in VR, because it's so much cheaper. I mean, it doesn't get any cheaper than free, does it? Once you've got your computer, of course, and your VR headset, which isn't much. I bought a new Oculus Quest 2 for 299 binds, and it works magic. I love it. I think it's great. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing and stay safe.